So this past week we've experienced some tougher fishing than usual for this time of year especially. Blake, how do you handle getting into some tough fishing like we have now? How's your approach?
So on the way out, we took our time getting out. We were marking some bait. There were some boats in there, but when they're in the shallow water, it seems like if you get a lot of boats, sometimes it can kind of push those fish out a little bit. So what I did is I just got a little bit to the outside of the boats, just on the edge, like where we're marking the bait, and we're gonna set up and see what we can do.
So what will we be running today?
We're gonna be running just typical Coho gear. We're gonna be running a couple 10-ouncers. We'll kind of show you guys what those are if you don't in a little bit here. We noticed that our downriggers and dipsies were really producing yesterday, so we've switched over to some 10-ouncers to try to target that lower water column a little bit better than the yellowbirds can do, you know, a typical yellowbird. All right, guys, I'm gonna start with my high dipsy here. The water's been a little bit stained, so we're running a 2-tone fly on there. As you can see, it's a little bit chewed up, but that one's a really good fly when you're in tight and the water's muddy. It seems to produce very well. We're gonna be running this out about 37 feet. And then the next rod is gonna be my low diver. It's gonna be a UV stubby with like a blue Liz style fly, a little bit of teal in it. The UV stubby sometimes can produce some good kings when it's a little bit foggy for us, as well as cohos, of course. And then the next one we're gonna be running is just a fire dot 00 Jensen. The yellows seem to work really good in the fog. And then this is just like a 7-up fly. Rob sells them in the shop. We're gonna be running this on a downrigger. This one we're gonna stretch it back a little bit, just because we're gonna probably troll just a touch faster today. That seems what they wanted yesterday, so we're gonna start there. And then this one we're running it down 9 feet, so a little bit higher. We're gonna move over to the center downrigger here. It's a Dreamweaver Super Slim. I believe it's called the Rod Father. It's got a gold back on it. We're gonna be running that one just up off the bottom. Me and Michael were just talking. We've been noticing where the fish, they're hugging the bottom a little bit. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get a spoon down there on the bottom and leave everything else kind of above it. And it seems to produce pretty well. We're gonna stretch it back about 15 feet and just send it down about 5 feet off the bottom. And what we're using today, these are Magnum Metals downriggers. They're capable of pretty much lifting any weight you want to throw at them. So no matter how deep you're fishing, you know, you can run 10-pound weights, you can run 40 pounds of weight if you want to. You know, they're super strong, durable downrigger, very simple. It's just a simple up-down switch on it. All right, guys, I'm gonna be setting my high dipsy on my port side now. This guy's gonna be another 00 fire dot with the old teal and pearl. Some people call it a revised 2-tone. There's a few different names for it. We're gonna be running this one about 35 feet out, kind of just out of sight. You know, you just barely will be able to see it when it's running. Now I'm gonna set my low diver. This one's gonna be the red Easter egg stubby with the ectoplasm slider fly. This one yesterday afternoon was very productive for us. It caught a nice king, and then it caught a bunch of nice cohos. So seems like when the water's just a little dingy, the ectoplasm seems to shine. So we're gonna be running this guy about 27 feet out. So kind of same thing, just getting them just out of sight. You know, you might see them if you get in some cleaner water. Same thing here, this guy's gonna be the red Easter egg, but the 00 size with an aqua. Sometimes a little bit of fogginess makes an aqua shine. We're running a little bit of an assortment of flies, and they've been eating pretty much everything, so we're gonna be putting this guy 45 back, and then we'll be hooking the yellowbird up. So a lot of guys wonder how much line to put out behind your yellowbird. Usually what I'll do is on one side, I'll go a little further, like on this port side, we just put this one 45 back, and then I'll probably put the next one at like 40. I just, you know, start somewhere, usually switch it up. Like on that side, I'm gonna go 40-40, 30-30. On this side, I'm gonna go 45-40, 35-30, and just try to cover like all my bases. And if I notice they're eating like the 45 one more than the 40, I'll kind of try to match that a little bit better. All right, guys, we're gonna talk about that 10-ouncer that I had mentioned earlier. This is just gonna be a reverse clown stubby with the 7-up slider fly. This one was very productive yesterday. And then we got, when you get up here, I'll show you when I get this in the water here. The way you rig this is You got a couple swivels linked together here, and then you put a snubber just to kind of relieve some of that tension. And it seems to help land the fish a little bit better. And then you just got a 10-ounce weight hooked to that swivel. You just want to be very cautious when you set these. You want to kind of set them in between all your lines, otherwise, because they drop straight down really fast. We're going to run this one back 20. And then we're going to run over here and grab our Dreamweaver Ninja board. It seems to pull these really nice, keep them nice and tight. It doesn't drag back. So they're very easy to use at the same time too. So just give it a wrap because I'm running straight braid. And then same thing, as you're deploying it, you want to let it kind of out the middle of your spread, if Michael wants to show you guys. That way it doesn't sink down and grab your other lines. You get it out and kind of around your dipsies and stuff like that. Oh. All right, guys, we just caught our first fish here. It's on that 00 lure Jensen, down 9 feet. That just goes to show you that, you know, you don't have to always run everything deep. If it was sunny out, we'd be able to see this one. Rob with the professional net job. It's a nice coho on that 00 fire dot with the 7-Up fly.
All right, so a couple years ago, we did a video with you and you were using stubbies during the summer. They seem to be a really important part of your program out here. How do they differ running them from the summer to in the spring for you?
So come summertime, I'll probably switch over to more like the chrome stubbies, smoke stubby, but then like the orange UV one, or I believe it's called the red flame UV one. That one's super productive throughout the whole summer for us as well. So I guess it doesn't typically matter on the color. It's kind of what the fish tell us they want. You know, we'll kind of try them all. But typically it's like your chromes, your smokes, your flat chromes, things like that. Sometimes when you get a day like today in the summer, you do like the yellow UV one. And then I'm just running usually like a slider fly behind them or like a half-cut Howie fly. And you know, they're productive.
And how do you run them differently from spring to summer? Do you run them deeper? You run them on different rods?
Usually deeper, you know, come summertime, we're running them on like 200, 300 coppers, 10 color leads, 8 color leads, that kind of thing, wire divers, you know, things like that. But yeah, definitely deeper, you know, as the water warms up.
And then do your leader lengths change for your flies?
So it's kind of weird. On a half-cut Howie fly, I'll do a 24-inch leader, but on like the 2-inch sliders or a peanut, I just do the typical 18.
Okay.
Hooked up on the yellowbird here. This one was 40 back. It's the 00 lure Jensen with the ectoplasm fly. That fly's been very productive for us as of recently. That yellowbird just tripped, so that'll make life easier. Looks like a nice coho that we got here. He's feisty. Come here. Perfect. Nice fish. As you can see, that ectoplasm fly, you know, Rob's got them, so they've been working very good as of recently. Would definitely recommend having a few of those in your spread the next time you come out.
What's your approach when you have some tougher fishing like this and it's just slower?
So usually the first thing I'll do is I'll start texting, you know, people that I know that are out, you know, the networking situation. Like last night, you know, you scroll through Facebook, look for fishing reports, kind of try to get a starting point. But like, for example, yesterday afternoon, we were about 3 hours into our charter, which, you know, it's halfway through on a 6-hour charter, and we only had 2 fish. So what I did is, you know, the fish were biting in shallow water to start, but what happened is we had a lot of boat traffic in there that slowed it down. So I just started trolling east until, you know, my radar cleaned up, didn't see many boats, marked a little bit of bait, and then I just leveled off and started working that area. And, you know, I get 2 or 3 bites, go about a half mile, turn around, go back through that spot, get 2 or 3 bites. So some of it's just luck, and some of it's just kind of like getting away from the boats and finding some bait and working that bait this time of year, you know, because the fish got to eat. All right, guys, we're hooked up on the low diver. It's the red Easter egg with the ectoplasm slider fly. Got my net man Rob again. It's a the second fish we got on the ectoplasm so far. Running this diver 27 feet out, so like I said earlier, it's pretty much as soon as I lose sight of it, I'm cutting it off. All right guys, we're hooked up on that same low diver. It's that red Easter egg with the slime or ectoplasm fly. See if we can get them in. I got it out 27. Looks like another nice coho. That red Easter egg stubby's just been producing for us this morning. I actually got 2 of them out, so this is what we're running here. It's the red UV Easter egg with the ectoplasm 2-inch, about 18 inches behind the stubby. All right guys, so it's a little bit tougher. We got like 4 fish now. We're gonna show them a little bit something different. We're gonna put an 8-inch whitey chip with a Howie bullfrog. Give it a shot. This is a pretty good staple. It works all year round for the most part. For kings, cohos, lake trout, whatever's down there. See if we can get them going. We're still marking them, so keep switching things out and see if we can start getting them to bite. In terms of like how often I will change stuff around, I usually give a bait. I'll pick like a rod or 2, and I'll give a bait about a half hour roughly to, and if nothing happens, I'll switch it to something else and then kind of repeat the process. We're gonna stretch it back, about 10 feet, and same thing, kind of similar to the spoon. We're gonna run it a few feet up off the bottom, probably 5 feet off the bottom. I run my stuff tight to the ball just because I seem to troll a little bit slower, so it helps give the dodger or the flasher the correct action. When you stretch it back, I usually do that if I'm gonna troll fast that day, or if somebody I know that trolls fast is getting bites, I know I gotta stretch my stuff back to give it the correct action, otherwise it kind of like... We just put it down, we didn't even cut the video off, and we're hooked up on the 8-inch E-chip with the bullfrog. It's a nice coho right up off the bottom. What was it down there, Michael? 10 seconds? Doesn't get any better than that. It's a nice coho. 3.5 pounds probably, somewhere in there. Oh boy, you know what that is. We're hooked up on that red Easter egg again. Same rod. It's only a size 4 hook. It started at 27, we're at 160. It's the Easter egg. Oh. The red Easter egg. You want to grab that center rigger, Dad, and just hold it out of the way? Nice king. Come on, buddy. Perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, this fish was the dipsy was only 27 feet out when this king hit. On that red UV Easter egg stubby, and then you got the ectoplasm fly. So, doesn't get any better than that. Hooked up on the opposite side low diver, another stubby. It's a red UV with like that kind of two-tone blue Liz style fly. We just dropped it down about another 14 feet to 35 and it went off. You can see that red UV stubby, another slider fly. Oh, double.
Another double. Oh, I got that on camera.
Doubles up. We needed that, man. You did the same thing I did. Oh.
It like
Boat
jumped
flip.
out of the net.
Oh.
Jump out and I looked over and see
Well. Didn't expect that. Well, we just had a double. Another stubby. This one's a custom one. It's yellow dot on one side, pink dot on the other side.
What's that?
With a slider aqua
Like a
fly.
7-up-ish.
Get some pliers. That one was down 14 feet. Well, guys, we just got done. We're kind of getting reset from a little bit of chaos there. We had both of the boom downriggers go. One was a 00 fire dot lure Jensen with a slider 7-up fly. The other one was a stubby with a slider aqua fly. One was down 9 and one was down 14. Got a little bit of chaotic there, but we got it done. We're hooked up on that red Easter egg again, stubby, with the ectoplasm slider. Starting to get a little bit of action. 4 bites pretty quick. Oh. They're lively on the Wisconsin side. We're starting to mark a little bit of bait here, and we've got 4 bites probably in the last 5 minutes, and we'll probably go a little further, and if nothing, we'll probably circle around and try to hit that bait again because there were some fish above it, and see what happens. The morning had started out a little bit slow, but we found a little bit of bait. We just kind of kept moving around and kind of bobbing in and out from like 30 to 40. And now we found a little bait. We're starting to get a little bit more bites. And that's kind of like the only change I've noticed. So we're just kind of working that bait, going over it. So, you know, this time of year, sometimes that's all it's about. You know, a lot of times if we're having slow fishing, I'll kind of idle around until I find some bait. And then I'll set rods and try to work that bait over and over again, as long as I keep getting bites. It's very important, you know, if you're not marking bait, it's kind of tough to know if there's fish there or not. Sometimes there is, but usually not. This is that red UV Easter egg again with the ectoplasm. I feel like I've said that 100 times today. It's been good. Oh boy. That's a nice coho. Perfect. Rob's got those in stock. You got to get them while they last. So some people might wonder why I haven't put that on every rod. I've learned in the past that it seems like when you do that, it kills that rod and then nothing works. It's just what I've ran into in the past. You know, I might put one other one out and that's kind of it. It seems like if you get too many of the same thing, it kills them all. In case you guys were wondering.
All right, everyone, so we just finished up fishing. It's about 8:30 in the morning. It's been tough conditions, but we scrapped together a pretty good catch. I think we landed about a dozen fish in a fairly short period of time. What advice do you have for anglers to kind of scrap together a good catch like that when things are tough the way they are?
So if I was gonna go out, you know, this time of year with what we're dealing with, I would just kind of putz around, you know, 5-7 miles an hour. If you start marking some bait, I would just set up and then just try to work that bait and see if there's fish around. You know, if nothing's going on, just troll a little bit further, see if you mark some more bait. I would just keep trying to work the bait. You know, I wouldn't just set up if you're not marking anything. Even if you're out deeper, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say you got to be in 15, 20 feet of water. Like today we were like 30 to 45 and that's kind of where the bait was and we're catching some fish. So, you know, you don't always have to be on shore on the beach this time of year. So that would be the advice that I would give.
So if folks want to come out fishing with Blake, how do they get a hold of you?
I got a website. It's www.storm4sportfishing.com. You can get me on Facebook at Storm4 Sport Fishing. Give me a call. It's 224-730-4105.
Thanks for watching. If you need any gear, you can check it out at lakemichiganangler.com.